Okay, guys, so we're going to talk about recruitment today. And this is recruitment for chatters, VAs, pretty much anybody that you need to have in your team. This method for us has worked to scale up to 100 chatters. At the end of the day, the scale also, you need to emphasize the management, the ongoing management to be able to make this work. But at a minimum, we'll be able to show you here how we scale to significantly large team. So you treat this in any other way, in the same way that you treat any other funnel. Same as you do your marketing when you do your TikToks or whatever it is that you're doing. You need to have as many coming through the top of the funnel as possible to give you and distill down the top highest quality individuals into the bottom of the funnel. And so we're going to use now Airtable. So we're going to jump around, show you this table here. And this has just got some dummy data. And then we're going to look at Go Login as well, which is what we use to recruit. So I think another important point to mention is that when you're building out a big team, a lot of OnlyFans agencies will come across as quite immature. They come across as chances. If you want good people to work for you, then you need to make sure that you're coming across in a very professional way. So make it feel real. And we'll talk about some of those points here. Then, yeah, we run up to 10 chatters a week through a funnel like this. This is not the only way, but this is, like I say, the way that we worked it. Once you get to sort of 10 to 20 chatters, you can get a VA to manage this full time. You can have a dedicated admin staff to basically run this funnel. A lot of it is automated, so it's not a full-time job even at that level. But depending upon how you want to run your interviews, if you can get a sort of high-quality individual to run the interviews as well, saving yourself a significant amount of time. So if we look through this is the structure that we use. So for our chatters, we've played around with 3 chatters on 8-hour shifts. But what works best for us is 2 chatters on 10-hour shifts. It always depends on the strategy that you're running. A lot of the strategy that we're running is sort of relationship stuff. And so we like to have breaks in between our chatters. We don't need to get back to every chat immediately. It makes it more real. If you're in a sexting session or you've got a sub who's really pushing, then of course you want to be on that immediately. But when someone's messaging you, that time to get back, you don't need to make it bot-like. And so there's no problem with having, for us, 2 to 4 hours a day of downtime. Also gives the opportunity for the chatters sort of hand over and work together on what's going on. Then we've got our team leaders, and so this is sort of our admin support staff, and they manage finance stuff, reconciliation on the sales, they manage content, communication, they do the schedules, and they do make sure that they're on top of customs, basically, which we'll go into. And then we have quality controllers who we also hire for. Well, quality controllers typically we will hire maybe externally, but for the most part, they'll be moving up as like our top level chatters. So the quality controllers will basically be in charge of training. So when we have new recruits that come through, from applicant to recruit contract signed, the quality controllers will then basically manage the training process. And the quality controllers are there to essentially maintain the SOPs and also to review work. And so they need to make sure that everybody is carrying out the strategy of the particular creator that they're working on. And so, yeah, the 2 options here that we work with, and that we'll talk to you about, is essentially hiring experienced chatters or hiring chatters that have never seen OnlyFans before. So if you're hiring, if you're starting out and you're just starting to scale and you don't really have the resources and also the energy to train someone from scratch, then try and find someone with OnlyFans experience, and we can talk about that as well. For us, what has been the long-term, sustainable, most profitable investment is to train someone who has never done OnlyFans. And so if you hire someone with OnlyFans experience, it's quick and easy, slot them in. They need little to no training to be able to make sure that they can work the systems, but you can still train them particular strategies, and then you can also sort of up-train them. But they come with bad habits most often. They could be moonlighting as well, working 2 different agencies or even 3 different agencies. And also they are familiar with the industry, and so you have a high risk of leaving. So if not every agency smashes it. Most agencies really struggle to keep momentum and also to stay at high levels when they reach them. And so if you have an account that just drops off one month, or the creator decides to go on holiday, you can be fucked. And if your chatters know how to play the game on getting across agencies, then they'll just be off straight away. And so if you're hiring from scratch, and we only hire native English speakers, so a little bit of a mistake that everyone makes is that if I need to hire in native English, I need to go to Canada, America, or UK. For us, it's super expensive where you're looking at the problem. And so what we say is that if we're looking for native English means that they were educated in English from day dot. And so they have a strong, good grasp of the English language and the structure of the English language. So they're not making that Asian mistake of moving, get and got, things like that, things on different sides of the sentences, getting them wrong. We hire from Jamaica, Zambia, South Africa, and other parts of Africa on the West Coast mostly because they were educated in essentially English schools. And their pay is $300 to $500 a month basically, and there's most cases that they're university educated, these guys. And so we hit those targets, those target locations, and we then spend a lot of time training them. And when it can be very tough, but they have no bad habits, and they will never leave you because they don't know where to go, and because the pay is so much better than what they normally get. So huge upside for us, but it takes a lot more effort, like 5 times the amount of effort to train them and to get them to a good position. If you have the investment, and that's what this whole course and this whole guide and mastermind is about going down that route, as well as the experienced only fan chatters, but bringing someone from scratch all the way up to a high standard. But it takes patience, it takes investment. So see how you get on with it. Worth mentioning as well, because these guys start from scratch, we see about a 50% fallout from when somebody says I'm going to start to when they finish their first week on the job, because they're so unfamiliar with it, and it's difficult to get them up to scratch and actually get them into a position where they really are convinced with the role, regardless of the money. And so that's the 2 sort of setups we're going to look at. And so we're going to go through how we deal with Upwork. It's the same process of doing only jobs or online jobs or PH or whatever if you're looking for Filipinos. And then we're going to run through the table automations. We've got a contract that we can share with you, just a template contract. And then what does our chatter onboarding look like? And the output that we're trying to achieve here is a repeatable, predictable hiring machine. So again, when you've got a large funnel at the top, like Upwork or online jobs or PH or whatever it is, or any of these other ones, Fiverr, you want to get as many people as you can through the top of the funnel. If you could automate most of the process of pushing people out of that funnel and identifying the winners, you're going to win yourself. Okay, so let's have a look. So we're going to go to let's just give a little explanation here. So this recruitment table here, this is all dummy data. So we've got different statuses here: active, on hold, hired, decline, no reply. And these are just examples, and so that they can run through the rest of the table. Internal notes, so if this one hired or if declined, had another job, just useful for internal, if multiple people working on this, you can basically just share information. First name of the chatter, second name, Telegram handle, email, this all comes from the form, so which we'll talk about in a moment, but we don't want to be entering anything. We want them to do everything. And so let's keep going through. So we've got nationality, time zone. This is very important. You'll see it later. Have you had OnlyFans experience in the past? Oh, fuck. I will not be doing. There you go. Years of experience, English level, past agencies, bio. Most important thing here is the bio. This is going to be our first sort of metric for if they're going to be able to make it through. If you have OnlyFans experience or you don't, that's subject to the strategy you're running, but the bio is super important, because what the bio is going to do, the bio is going to basically allow you to identify if these guys can even write, and if they're just basic bitches, or if they really can deliver. Then the languages they speak, sales experience, and then we've got stages 1, 2, 3, which we'll talk about, and then past information about who they worked at, how do they hear about us, and then this is please provide details of your current employment. Yeah, so if they're working another job. And then CV, obviously, very useful. So all of these different columns here appear in this form, except for these, because these are things that we will do manually internally. So they will get sent this link, and it will ask them to fill out the details as we just saw in those columns. So super easy, nice funnel to gather information. So you don't have to be emailing people individually and figuring out like what they're, if maybe you take a full name one time, maybe you take a second name, a first name the next time. This is just super clean. And again, your statuses here is super nice and easy, and default option is active. So we basically need to understand where our funnel starts. So the funnel starts in Upwork. So if I just go here, so go log in, use a proxy, state it in the States. And then we normally run 3, 4, 5 of these Upworks at any one time. And then we boost one of the ads on the Upwork. And from there, we basically get a lot of inbound inquiries for the job. So let me just log in. Okay, already logged in. So this is so creating a Go login should be basic. You use Anti-Dolphin or any of the other anti-tech browsers. We use Packet Stream for our proxy, but you can use whatever. We use Gmail and Yahoo for email addresses so that we can get verified on Upwork, but straightforward. Then you've got 2 options here. You can either look for experienced OnlyFans chatters or no experienced chatters. If you're looking for experienced OnlyFans chatters, then you're essentially setting up suicide accounts. So you know they're going to get banned, because if you write OF chatter or OnlyFans chatter, the account will not get past the first check. So what you can do is you can set up 3 or 4 of these Upwork accounts today, and let them sit and post a job, a really basic good job, and then job post that you don't care about. And then that will warm up the account. And then when you post a job 3 days later for saying OnlyFans chatter, they won't ban it straight away. You normally have 24 to 48 hours of it being up, at which point you can get a lot of CVs come through. And so suicide accounts, really straightforward. And then once you've warmed up the accounts for 1 to 3 days, you can then do something like that, right? OnlyFans spelled like that, 0 instead of O, or OF chatter, because chatter is what everybody will search for if they already have experience. So that's straightforward if you're looking for OF chatters with experience, basically. If you're looking for no experience chatters, this is the method that we use, and you can still use some of this for looking for people with experience of OnlyFans. So here, what we would normally just say is, well, take a step back. So if you're looking for somebody who could be an OnlyFans chatter, and you want a higher pool of people, sample size, to be able to hire from, and this again is what we do, you don't really, all you need is, you need three core things. You need a strong understanding of the English language, and you need some customer service or sales experience, and you need somebody who's motivated by money. So what we will put here is fluent, we'll keep it super simple, fluent English speaker with sales experience. We'll then work through and we would say here, for example, English customer service. We can then say sales online chat. This is literally what our team does every day. Communications, customer support. Where's it gone? There we go. Push through. And we would say large, more than 6 months. Intermediate, yes. Next, location. So what we'd do here, worldwide, and then we'd say Jamaica. I'm going to show you why we just do Jamaica. And you can do, each account can have, or each post you can do a different location. And I'll show you why we do that. And then we put here $3 to $20, because that's the pro rata rate. If you're making good money, it's about $20 now, it can be up to 50. And here we keep it super simple. International agency, communications and sales agency looking for fluent English speakers with some sales experience, customer support experience. It's a bonus. Job involves speaking with subscribers and upselling content. Now, not everybody will know what this is. I can fix that later. role will pay or remuneration in month 1. Probation is whatever you guys pay, $500 to $1,000, and up to $3,000 from month 2 onwards. Please include CV with application so we can assess past experience. So this is a little bit of a shortened version. Reason being because you can add a little bit more source to it however you want. What we do is we ask for the CV, because if you go on to Upwork and you say, send me your details, send me your email address, you'll get banned. And then if you don't boost in a post because you don't want to spend the $30, then you can't talk to anyone. So what we say is, please include your CV, and then they will include it in their cover, and then in their CV, they always have their contact details. It works 75% of the time. So it's a little hack if you don't want to pay. We would recommend paying for the boost, because if you pay for the boost, then you basically are provided with high authority on the Upwork page, and they will give you more applicants anyway, even if you do 4 or 5 posts on this one job, on this one account, right? Which we recommend. So review job post. If you now mention OnlyFans or chatting on the first post, you'd get screwed and it would get taken down. So we then put here, this is minor, but doesn't really make much of a difference. Post this job. So now a lot of people just sit here and wait for the inbounds, which is right. That's essentially what you're doing. View proposal. And you would then have review proposals here, right? You'd see who comes in, you get an email and get notifications. We would say create 3 or 4 of these posts on the same account and create 3 or 4 posts, boost 1 post per account. That's your marketing funnel. You're going to get 200 leads. So once you pay and you boost 1 post on 1 account, you can then talk to anybody who comes in on any of the posts on that account. But you've already put into, give your CV, so you're kind of hacking that system already. So while we wait for proposals, if you go to invite freelancers, you get 30 invites. And these will predominantly be all Jamaica, because that is the location that I had put into the actual job spec. So if you've got Jamaica, you can immediately just say invite to job. All right, look at these guys. So customer service agent, virtual assistant, email, chat, telephone. Never done OnlyFans, but he fits the bill perfectly. He's going to speak good English, and he's got experience as a virtual assistant and customer service agent. $5 an hour, same price as a Filipino, but better English, arguably. If you can just teach this person to use OnlyFans, this person is going to be a super high quality individual for your team. And now look at how many we've got. You've got all of these. And a lot of people just don't focus on this. They think, no, for us, this is first principles thinking. Where do you look? How do you get them? And this is it. So another one, right? Not everybody will be a perfect fit, but customer care with sales, appointment setting, lead generation. This person is going to be fantastic for it, right? Account manager, data scientist, probably not, but you just run it through. These people are looking for jobs, and like if you're going to be paying 10% and you're putting them on an account which is earning 50k, or 3 accounts of 20k, let's say, or whatever it is, they're going to be earning more money than they would be anywhere else. So it's all about presenting yourself in the right light to these people who've never done it, convincing them of it, and then pushing them through in a structured manner. They come out the other side, and you got a fire team basically. So you just do invite to job here. Invite, and what you could do, what I would recommend, but sometimes we can't be bothered, is say, hey, hope you're looking for something. If you're looking for something completely different and you've ever considered it, we would love to have you part of our sales and communications team. If you provide us with your CV, we'll get in touch and we'll be able to explain everything later. You can earn up to $3,000, whatever. Send invitation. And then before you know it, you can have 30, maybe 50 or 60 proposals here from natural people coming across, and then also from Jamaicans or South Africans or from Zambians because of the location you put in here. And so this is our hack to get, if you do 5 accounts with 5 job posts and you do 5 different locations, all native English speakers, you can have hundreds of applicants in a day. And then you can get their CVs for, marginal cost of $0, paying $30, but for so many CVs, it turns into like 50 cents per CV basically. So really, really high impact funnel here. So that's how we post, we boost, and we invite to hire. And then we get an email address from their CV. And from their email address, we send an email that says, thank you so much for providing us with your CV over Upwork. We would love you to be an applicant for this role. We give a little bit of a spiel on what the actual role is, and we say in that spiel that there is some sexting involved, so you're warming them up. We actually have a video that our head recruiter has got on a landing page, but we're not going to share that with you. It's something you can rebuild yourselves. And in the group, flag it if you want. I can share it. But it's a really nice, professional, simple-looking page, Notion page. It looks like it's a genuine site, with a video from our recruiter basically saying, hey, we would love to have you on board. This is a little bit about the role, and here's the form. And then we embed this form into that page, as well as having having it on the email, so they can then complete this. When they complete it, goes into here. We then start reviewing it. And so once we start reviewing each of the applicants, the first thing we do is we read the bio. Can these guys write English? How effective is their basic level of English? And we see their experience, and we prioritize, right? We prioritize who's best. Then this is where the funnel gets expedited. And so a little bit of a deep dive here. So in the automations, we've set up these four automations for recruitment, which are core. So firstly, just to mention it really quickly, if you change this to declined, the status to declined, an email automatically gets sent out to Chatter 7 to this email address and says, thank you so much for your application. However, we will not be proceeding at this time, right? This is the automation. Thank you for applying for communications as cell role within agency name. Unfortunately, we'll not be reviewing your application, blah, blah, blah. Because we want to always leave people on a positive note, or actually at least a respectful note. If you ghost them, you're never going to have a chance to bring them back. The reason I say that, and I used this word carefully a moment ago, we then filter from here. Because if you have 10 or 20 guys inbound and you pick the top 5, the second top 5, between top 10 and top 5 could also be quite good, but they just didn't meet the top 5 standard. So if the next week you're panicking and trying to find chatters, and you think, well, actually, these 3 or 4 guys I declined, they may be relevant, go back, and then you can say, hey, actually, on reflection, second thoughts, we'd like to see and put you through some testing. So just something to consider. Always be respectful to the people who are applying to your company. So then we look at the bio. Then we say, right, those that we want to push through, if you click stage 1 tests, what we've got set up here, and you can manage this in your own way, is that we will send them this automation, send applicant tests. So before we actually dive into that, the point here with the way that we manage our funnel is that we don't want to speak to anybody until we know that they're going to be, solid candidates. So this filter here, have you been OnlyFans chatter? Can you write in English, right? Then the next one is stage 1 tests. So stage 1 tests, we say, in order for us to assess whether you're a right fit, you need to do a 5-minute type test and send us your score, right? And then the next test after that is that they need to do an English test and submit their score. And the English test will tell you if they're a B1 or a C2, and it'll be out of 25, and everybody should do this themselves to see where they are. Our threshold is 20 out of 25, and our type test is, last time I checked, I think it's 40, so words per minute. So this is this provides 2 things. One, for you, a filter. And then on the other side of the equation, it provides the candidate, the applicant, with a look and feel of a professional outfit. You're putting them through tests. You're not just taking them at the first opportunity. And because you're running with maybe 50, 60, or 100 different chatters coming inbound here, you don't want to have to, sift through all of this bullshit yourself, send the tests. Half of them won't even do the test. So that's your first filter. Were you even serious about it? The next half that come through, let's say half of them achieve the results. More than half will, but let's just call it that. You have then saved your time with almost 75% of the applicants that were never going to make it anyway. Once they send the test through and you prove the results, and they come just through into an email, so they respond to this email. Where is it? They will just respond to the email here, or actually, pardon me. They will respond to the email on the Airtable account, but you can just do here, agency at, put it in there. And once they respond, then you say stage 2 video. So you click that, and the next automation goes out, which says, hi, chatter, thank you for your previous test and congratulations, you're through to the next round. Again, you haven't had to do anything except for click a button. And you link here a link to a video, which we get our recruiter to do. Again, shows a level of professionalism. And on the video, it says, please, can you send us a 4-minute video, selfie, explaining who you are, your ambitions, your motivations, and your past experiences. At this point, you'll have another natural filter. A lot of people won't want to do that. If they didn't want to do that, they won't go on a video call with you. And you've got so many applicants to deal with that you just want to have those that are confident enough to do that, because they're likely going to be strong team members. And so this, we basically say, send this back to us in 24 hours. And if we like the video and they come across in a good way, then they get put through to the interview. And this is the first time that we're actually even speaking to anybody. And this is a Calendly link, so you click that. The next automation gets sent out. And if you put the Calendly link in here, this will appear as a hyperlink. And we're basically saying, this is a video call, not only a voice call, so please make sure you're in a quiet place. Yeah, it's basic stuff. And they basically get to choose, through a Calendly link, a 15-minute interview the next day. And we make sure that we have that time in our calendar prepared and blocked out, available for these interviews. And then you can hold 15, you can do maybe 4 an hour, so you can do 8 in 2 hours. And you do 2 of those a week, and you've got through 16 applications. For the most part, if you'll get through to this point, you're pretty much going to make it through, because it's shown us that they're willing to put in the effort, and we can see who they are at this point. And if they've got the confidence to go to this point, then they're going to be quite good. So if anybody struggles with how you actually create these automations, then we can discuss them in a separate video, or we can discuss them in the group. But super, super helpful. Basically say that when a record matches the condition, i.e. when stage 3 is ticked, then send this email. So very simple 2-step process. And so once we get to stage 3, the next stage for us is a little bit more manual, because we're really dwindled down from maybe 100 down to maybe 10 guys or 10 girls. And from that point, the next stage is our QC, a quality controller, one of the quality controllers, or if you don't have one, which is completely understandable and unlikely that you'll have one, because you don't really need one unless you're over maybe 10 to 20 chatters. The QC will do a 20 to 30 minute sexting session on Telegram, where you create a group and the QC acts as the sub and the chatter acts as a chatter. And the goal of that is to see how they are naturally equipped to sext. And this is obviously the biggest tell that you'll see and how good they'll be. And so someone with OnlyFans experience will do very well. Someone without it, if you can just say to them, look, have you sexted with your partner in the past? Yes, great. You're 90% of the way there. So super straightforward, just sex with this person. And you want to let them know that you're looking for open-ended questions. You're letting them know that you need to drop prices for content, and there should be a pricing ladder. And you need to let them know that it needs to be engaging and flirty and fun and sexy. If they can then do that, you have then basically cut down, from, like I say, 50 to 100 applicants to maybe 5 guys that can pretty much already do the job. Now you just need to train them on technicals and then your strategy. And that we'll go into later. So this 3-step process or 4-step process, stage 4 is the sexting session. That's sort of a bit manual over Telegram. We do that. And then after that, you basically got, what could be described as a high quality individual, just needs to be trained. So the next stage, then we just keep this information here, and we send them a contract. We'll provide a templated contract as well. We use Dropbox Hello Sign to sign the contract. So super easy. And again, all of this process, almost all of this process, if done right, you can just get a VA or your quality controller to do this process for you. The final point here to mention that once we have actually onboarded them, or once they have signed a contract, we then send out this chatter onboarding form where we ask their home address, profile, and ID. Sorry, this is before the contract. When they do that, it will create a row here where they will have provided the home address, profile picture, and ID. From that, We then create the contract and save the signed contract here. Try to use Google Drive as little as possible. And then we will add in, so once they create this line, we'll then find the chatter here, chatter 9, for example, and then we'll put in the details here. These are all lookups, which we'll explain later. And these are all lookups as well. We say that this person is a chatter and what they on, for example, add this information, and then you'll see it'll be linked to their profile picture, ID, and home address. Like I say, sign the contract, and then all as well. You basically got a new team member, and that's how we manage our recruitment. The output here is, you can turn 10 applicants into five proper chatters, and you've got people on board who are genuinely sort of excited to work in a professional outfit, because most agencies, they won't even have an email signature. Very important to show sort of that sort of output when you're talking to people who have no idea about the industry. So if this, hopefully this was helpful, and we have another view here just quickly where we filter by active, so we know who's in the recruitment process. So that here, if you look on our actual Airtable, we have about 1,000 entries in this recruitment tab. So we filter on active to know who's actually here. And then, of course, this is the form that I mentioned before. So you can see why you wouldn't include stage 3, stage 1, and stage 2 here, because you don't want them clicking on the form. That's an automation that we run. Again, if anybody needs help understanding how we do this in more detail, and if you want to add in another stage, you can add in another stage or delete the stage. No problem. Again, something that we can help. Hopefully that was useful. Yeah, on to the next one.